Hello everyone. Welcome to the Sapphire Spider Oracle channel. Hope you guys are all doing fabulous. This is a pick a pile reading per request from a follower. Just kind of focusing in general though this time on what the 22222 portal is bringing to you. So today is actually 2/2/22. And of course, we're leading up to 2/22/2022. And this portal's actually been open since January, really. So this is a manifestation time. It's a beautiful portal. It's a really good time to get focused. And we're going to do a pick a pile. But before I separate the piles, I have a couple of treats. Some of them planned, some of them unplanned. So what was planned? Featuring a new deck here for us today, Supernatural Tarot. If you love the show, me too, honey, me too. So we're gonna break this out on the channel. This deck is actually kind of hard. It's kind of tricky for me to connect with, so we're gonna see how we do today. But that's why I brought in my Lenormand deck, so that I can keep us focused. And then the part that was unplanned, I was like, I just got this fire quartz crystal and I haven't done anything with it yet. So I'll bring it into my reading today and open up the energy. And when I touched it, I felt a sticker on the bottom and it's marked for 22. So I was like, that's the crystal for the day. So let's get started. I've already pre-shuffled these decks, but let's pull out 3 piles for Lenormand cards. And it wants me to kind of shuffle like this so that we don't see anything. And I'm just going to pull them here on the recording. And that's what I want to do with the tarot videos today. I'm just kind of breaking them up. That's what I'm going to do with the tarot cards today instead of pulling off screen. So set is ready. All right, we're going to have pile 1. We're gonna have pile 2, and we're gonna have pile 3. And that's what we got. So choose from pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. And then we will elaborate with the Supernatural Tarot in just a moment. All the timestamps are below. I will see you then. Thanks. Hello, pile 1. All right, let's get started, you guys. So we've got this Lenormand card to tell us what the core message is coming through of this 2/2/2/22 portal, what the focus is for your energy, all that jazz. And then we're going to expand with that Supernatural Tarot. So the Lenormand card said drum roll a little bit. Indeed, indeed, because you have the Rider. It immediately gave me a song. It gave me the song, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. And she rides white horses, right? In that song. So this is definitely some news for you. And it's coming in as a 9 of hearts, which is essentially a 9 of cups. So this can be especially about wish fulfillment. Also, this character is holding a caduceus, which is the sign of Mercury and Hermes, and we are currently in Mercury retrograde. So that can mean a return. It doesn't have to be simply new news. It could be a return of somebody or something. So we're going to see how that resonates with the rest of these cards. So it could be brand new news, that is wish fulfillment. Could be a return of somebody or something that was previously delayed. That often happens on retrogrades. If it got delayed on one retrograde, it'll usually come back on another retrograde, right? So it could just be kind of one of those factors. And it just pointed out the red feather on the top of his hat. And red feathers to me means a cardinal. And cardinals to me mean ancestors and soul connections, especially. So let's dive in. I shuffled the hell out of this deck, y'all. Because it's brand new and some of the cards are sticking and everything. So let's expand off this message. So you're obviously anticipating news, because if you're actually using this 2/2/2 portal to manifest things, then you're waiting on news possibly. And especially if it was delayed news, right? It had to be put off for another time. something said 3, and then it said 4, and then it was like, so there was something there. So let's start with 3. And I'm sure we'll probably pull a 4th card. Look at that. This 4th one just like slid out in my hand. It's like, no, you're going to take 4. So there it is. It said sneaky maneuvering. Sneaky maneuvering. It said someone wants to make sure that they're being heard. That's why that 4th card got slipped in here. It said someone wants to make sure they're being heard. I was just getting some more messages. All right, let's dive in. Man, my elbow just popped on that too. I don't know if you're going to hear that in recording. All right, we have the Temperance card. This is Jody from the show, which I'm not going to like strictly talk about the show, just PS. But she is a cop who kind of falls in line with the supernatural stuff that's going on, right? Kind of sort of joins the team of the Winchesters and essentially is an aide from time to time that has a pretty level head. And right, that's the thing. She was a normal cop before she gets into all the supernatural stuff. So she has a lot of experience of bad stuff from reality as much as she has experience with some of these supernatural things, right? So it just said like level-headed, even-keeled, like across the board. Like she just knows how to keep her cool. And that's where we have this Temperance card. And that's what I mean. She knows when it's time to rest. She knows when it's time to get up and go. She knows when it's time to hang back and maybe do some research. She knows when it's time to move forward. And it was just saying like this energy was previously hanging back. So perhaps it's picking up momentum and moving forward indeed through this portal. It keeps saying indeed, and that time I said indeed, it was definitely giving me like the job stuff, right? So you could possibly, depending on how the rest of these cards go, there could be something about a job offer coming in. It could be related to possibly law enforcement, or I was going to say foster care because of the fact that like social services, because she takes care of a lot of teens as well. So there's something kind of coming off of that. You might have been waiting for a while for a position to open up and you've been sitting back and biding your time. If it's not about a job offer, then that's just the general energy. This has been previously hanging back, but it's a very astute energy just when it comes to knowing what to do, like when to take action, when not to take action, right? It's really pointing out her fingernails to me in this 3 of Swords, the claws. I need the book a little bit on this one. I can't remember the absolute details of the storyline, but let me look at it. Okay. It says, Madison's story is a tale of tragedy and heartbreak, which are major themes of the 3 of Blades. Madison was the victim of a werewolf bite, and though she and the hunters searched desperately for a cure, she ultimately realized she would always be dangerous and chose to sacrifice herself to save others. The 3 of Blades symbolizes loss, sorrow, and sometimes betrayal. That's what I mean. This 3 of Swords is a little different from some of my other decks. So, is this all like crooked or is my phone crooked? I think it's crooked. There we go. Straighten that up for you just there a little bit. There we go. Okay. When I look at this card today, it just keeps saying I'm sorry. It just keeps saying I'm sorry. Okay, so if it's not a job offer, then like I was saying, people can return to your life. And this doesn't have to be romantic. She was trying to protect her family, right? She was trying to protect her family. So you can take this however it resonates for you. But that's the thing is like her family's werewolves. She's a werewolf. they are all under the threat of being killed because they're monsters, and so she sacrificed, like, you know, all that stuff, right? So it's like, not necessarily that she wanted to be a monster, that she wanted to have these claws and hurt people. It's just kind of, it just said the way I am, like the way I was made, right? And then something just came through and said, that's an excuse. That's an excuse. That, right? And that's the whole thing, is like, well, you might be a monster, but can you control those more monsterly habits? And should you, like, if you were honestly a monster, like, that's repressing some of your natural nature. So it just said, this is a tough card. This is, it's tough to determine who's the bad guy and who's not. And maybe that's because there isn't really a bad guy, right? And that's one thing it's really pointing out to me. Like, maybe there's not really a bad guy. And strangely enough, though, let me just tell y'all what just happened. I locked eyes with this red, which is supposed to be wine, because she's a human, okay? Just to clarify, she's a human. But it really pointed out the red wine here in comparison to this red heart. And that's the whole thing, is like, vampires and werewolves feed on blood and stuff like that. And that's where it had me coming back to this card and looking at her as if she's not really who she's supposed to be, is what it just said. Who she's supposed to be. She's not really who she's supposed to be. I was talking about how, you know, this character and the qualities of that character are overall very positive. Nice. And something just said, but what if they weren't? There's some either paranoia happening right here, or there's something legit underneath. And that could be where this rider's coming in too. There's a little something that's not quite being revealed yet in between these cards. Someone's saying, I'm sorry, that's just how I'm made. I don't mean to hurt people and things like that. And someone's like, well, it's a choice. That's an excuse. You can control yourself. And it's talking about like blood and cravings, right? It's a werewolf or a vampire. And that's where it was like, but can they? Maybe someone else is kind of sucking the energy out of them, right? So they need to feed. It's talking about toxic cycles and how it just said energy transference, and how, whoa, huge messages. There went. It was just saying a narcissist. How a narcissist can very much make themselves look like they're keeping the peace and doing everything that they're supposed to do to maintain general law and order. But what's in that cup, honey, is what it's saying. Temperance card can be related to Sagittarius energy. So if that's important to someone, there you go. That's the whole thing. It's like, are they the good cop? Or is it someone in disguise? Oh, it just said shapeshifter. Yes, that's in that show like a ton. So, okay, let's see what these other two cards say. Someone's energy might be a shape-shifting energy. They can turn into a werewolf. I don't think that they mean to hurt people, but that's where it's like, well, that's an excuse, because you definitely do hurt people, because you are not at all who you say you are. It's not that you can't be these qualities too, but it just is like, let's be real, right? When you take off this uniform, when you change faces, change skins, this is some of the energy that you're giving out to folks. But there is this, it just said repentance. There's a bit of repentance energy coming off of this. Just saying like, you know, man, I'm sorry for the things I've done before. Maybe it's not entirely my fault. Maybe there was someone influencing me. They were affecting my energy. They were taking from me. They look like a good guy because they're the narcissist pulling the strings behind everything. And they've really been possibly putting swords in your back. And there's something here that's confusing. So what's this? I said, but they about to roll up. This is actually like the only card in the deck that actually features Sam and Dean, with like full face, full figure, everything. Everybody else is other characters. So it said the home team. This is your home team, right? I'm just sitting with it. It's strangely enough, it's like pulling me to these little bitty strokes of lightning back here in the background. And it was making it out as if almost like they were giving off static electricity, which is funny because I've been like, I mean, of course it's winter time and that's when you get all staticky and everything. And like stuff I've been touching today has been like shocking me a little bit. It said shock value. There's something here in this card, this Fool card, that kind of comes as a shock. It feels good. Kind of just gave me electric eels a little bit. Oh, well, the caduceus, the snakes and stuff, right? That's what I'm saying. There's something a little shocking coming through here. But it feels good. It would be just as shocking to see Sam and Dean Winchester literally like stroll up to you and whatever your situation is, just as much as they can be kind of like dangerous shocking, right? Like they can shock you in a bad way, like, oh. But it's not giving me the vibe of like, oh no, they walked up, right? It's giving me the vibe of like someone's aura field being so alive with electricity that it both attracts that electricity and sends it out. It's kind of implying it's basically implying that this Fool energy comes around because of this energy, like it's sensed, right? Like they can feel it, the tingling, right? Like they just have their little hunter senses on and they're like, yo, what's up with this, right? And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about that weird energy that was going on between these two cards. What is up with this? Are they a shapeshifter? Are they really who they say they are? There was a big conversation here about narcissists, and there is apologies and everything coming from this person, this energy. So someone does really feel honestly sad and bad about it. And that's where it's picking up on Sam. Sam's always the character that's like, because, you know, Dean's ready to just like cut everybody off, kill everything, and just like be done with it. But Sam is the voice of emotion and reason because Sam's the one that carries the devil around inside of him. So he sympathizes with a lot of monsters because he understands their plight, their problems. And that's where he's looking at her in typical Sam fashion and saying, well, you know, maybe she didn't choose to be like this. Sometimes you can't help what you are born into, right? You can't help who you become sometimes because of certain circumstances and situations. He didn't know that he was going to end up carrying a devil around with him. And he has to deal with that crap all the time. And it's terrible. Same thing with someone being a werewolf, right? Some people, and that's where it wants to point out the difference in a major arcana and a minor arcana. A minor arcana is a tiny step in the path. Here we go. We've got the broken heart and then we've got the filled heart up here. A Three of Swords is a tiny step in the path. Don't necessarily feel tiny, but in the scheme of these cards, it's a tiny step in the road. Whereas major arcana are big steps in the road. And this Temperance energy is generally a great card. Man, Jody's throwing me for a loop today because the times that I pulled her card, it just feels great. But there's something here where this figure is saying that somebody is not as good as they seem. This is possibly blood in the picture and it's pulling off of their energy. So someone's kind of sucking the life out of them and playing it up like everything's good. But this person's saying, no, it's not. I know I'm a monster as well. I know I can hurt people and I've done it before, but you don't understand. Sometimes it's about the other people around me, the circumstances around me, and that's where he's starting to get a clue. He's like, there's something up with this, right? And Dean, that more masculine energy, is probably like, well, we'll just take care of both of them. But that's where it's like, you got to have some compassion and understanding. So you might have an apology coming through, and someone that, like, part of somebody, and this Fool energy is brand new beginnings, right? So they're willing to listen and at least like hear this out. They might feel foolish for doing so, or you might feel foolish for doing so if this apology comes to you. But it is saying, like, take it from both perspectives. You can sit and listen and understand and sympathize, or you can choose to be more of that Dean character, which is ready to just always get down to business and move on to the next mission, right? So it said there's something to pay attention to here. So let's see what this fourth card is. Ah, power one, yeah. Man, that was an interesting energy. It was like a brother one up there, right? Dean's always ready to kill everybody off and get to the next mission, except when it comes to Benny. Except when it comes to Benny. Benny's a vampire. And the whole reason why Benny gets to live and Dean doesn't kill him is because Dean was in purgatory and Benny helped save his life and get him out of purgatory. So his whole deal is you curb your cravings and I don't have to come kill you, right? And that's the whole thing Benny wants to do, because Benny's just glad to be out of purgatory too. So he's trying to be a good guy. He's trying to be a good guy. And eventually, like, way on down the road, like, you know, circumstances change for him and he has to make other choices. But overall, he tries to be the good guy. He does try to successfully fight his cravings, and he does a pretty good job of it. And that's where it was kind of one-upping each other brother-wise and saying, like, you know, why do you have sympathy for this situation over here? That's ridiculous. Can't you see this person's like a werewolf, a monster, a shapeshifter, a narcissist, just pulling everybody's strings? And Sam's like, yeah, well, don't you remember you have someone that you kept alive that maybe wasn't someone that everybody else would deem should stick around? And they're a monster too, so what about that? And I really like that message because it's pointing out, it's doing this kind of like crisscross thing, very much like this. It's saying, number one, some people that look good are really monsters underneath. And that's that weird vibe you have to pay attention to. And some people are actually monsters, but underneath, they're heroes. They're fools. Even though this is the Fool card, it's very much coming through as just the typical Sam and Dean, like heroic energy going into their little missions and doing their thing, right? But that's what it's pointing out. Just because someone looks sweet and nice on the outside doesn't mean they don't have claws and aren't capable of hurting other people and continuing a lot of toxic cycles. And just because someone looks like a monster who's capable of killing and hurting people doesn't mean that they aren't capable of compassion and teamwork and collaboration, like all these good things, right? And starting over new. And that's where the Fools come in. Like, they can start over new. They don't have to be a monster forever. Good people don't have to stay good forever. They could turn into a monster. Nice. Thank you, Spirit. It was talking about the message of duality, just duality in general. That's part of what this message is coming through. I do think there's an apology for this group coming through. I do think that in general, the energy is showing you how it can go both ways, vice versa. And that's why you got to have your little hunter senses on so that you can pay attention to things. If you're wishing for an apology or some news, you're going to get it. But pay attention to it. There's something under here that is possibly narcissistic and not what it seems. Look for this energy. This is the energy that's true, is what it just said. This is the energy that's true. The person that is the monster, but is dedicated to being a good person, and like he totally minds his own business most of the time, right? Like he hardly ever bothers anybody at all. Like he's literally just trying to chill. Look for that energy. Not the person that's just hanging back and trying to keep the peace and order of everything. That's where it just said false. That's a little false. That's a little false over here. The Strength card, it said is like authentic, right? And that's what you need to feel for. I want 1 or 2 more cards definitely for this pile, just quickly. So you need to definitely look for the Strength energy. And if this message is just applying to you, then definitely we need to lean into the Strength energy, right? Lean into the Strength energy. Don't think that sitting back and trying to hold the order and the peace is going to do much of anything. It's really just kind of hurting you and building up these monsters and everything. You got to go into it totally new, and you got to lean into your own strength when judging this situation. I want 1 more card on this over here, and we'll just go ahead and take 1 on the Strength card over here. Eight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Damn, that's the card that always freaking messes me up. So give me a second. All right. That is Joe, right? Yeah, Joe. Joe Harville is a brave, independent woman who decided to follow in her father's footsteps and become a monster hunter, even though it means going against her mother's wishes. That's not her mom in the show, but that's what the vibe it just gave me. The Eight of Pentagrams suggests you embrace Joe's strong-willed spirit and find your own career path. I was talking about work for some of you guys. Don't let the naysayers hold you back. Follow your passions and see where they lead. She's a hard worker overall. Like before she's doing the hunting, she's a bartender, so she's always serving the other hunters. And right, like, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever been a bartender, but I have. And if you ever dealing with drunk people, especially drunk men, like, goodness gracious. I've had to hand feed some drunk man onion rings over the bar just to make sure he stayed in place and did not get in his truck and try to drive. And that's kind of what it's bringing to me, is like, there might be late nights. Whoo, it just gave me a song, y'all. It gave me, dang, I haven't heard that song in quite a while. It gave me the Iggy Azalea song, Work. And that's what I was about to say. You might have some late nights. You might have some things that you have to work really hard for and kind of push to get your way. Look at the visual comparison between these two figures in this card. There is some kind of figure, possibly a mom figure. If not, I'm going with that Sagittarius energy possibly. There's some kind of mom figure here that has helped brew some of these issues because of the fact that they're not as innocent as they seem. And where this card wants to lay, it's kind of like that pushback, right? Like you're trying to make your own path, like get ahead of that, move forward. There might be some late nights. You might have to grind and work pretty hard to overcome that major arcana energy and put yourself first, is what it just said, and put yourself first. You might have to grind pretty hard to put yourself first. But that's what needs to be done. And with her knife, it's very much like she's going after this. And this is where now there very much is this conversation about the inner world, about, you know, taking care of your own monsters so you don't hurt other people. And that's an important lesson to come through on this 222 portal as well. It's like, yeah, there was possibly someone pulling some strings in the background, not quite being who they look or say they are. That created all of this pain, which made me accidentally hurt others, which is what got people, you know, coming after me, wanting to hurt me, possibly in that figurative way, right? You know, it's like you got to get on top of it. You got to get ahead of it. You have to get ahead of your own pain and heartache and just take care of these issues before mingling with other people, because that's the whole deal. So like that's what you need to do, which does bring a positive note back to this Temperance card. It's time to sit back and kind of work on yourself for a little bit at first. But then we get into the flow of this energy. We come over here and we got this Seven of Swords, and that's where this is a trickster energy. Seven of Swords is a trickster energy, and this card is kind of tricky. And the fact that I had that message about some people are bad and some people are good when they're actually monsters or humans, now it's kind of flipping again. Like, she's the good character. She's the more trickier negative character if we had to look at one. So it's throwing me curveballs here. I said life will do that to you. Yes, indeed. I'm telling you, someone's looking for a job. I keep saying indeed. Someone's looking for a job in this pile for sure. And that's where you might be going to look for that job. Going to the Fools, right? He works in food service. Y'all, I've been talking about bartending and everything. You might be looking at food service instead of like law enforcement or social service, or I don't know. There's something there. And that's where it's saying what was a strong opportunity or looks like a strong opportunity might be a little trickier and devious than you first thought. Ruby's character, like, I liked Ruby's character, but she definitely ends up being the bad guy in the end. And so that's the thing, is like she plays a good game for a while, but at the very end of the day, she turns out bad. It feels like there's two paths for you. You could keep grinding and working hard, which feels good to some degree, like within your spirit. But there's something here, y'all, that just ain't flying. Like, it ain't, like, I can't explain it. It's just the vibe I'm getting. It's just like, it just ain't it. Part of that could be internal, though. So it's wanting you to pay attention to your internal battles. You can go out and look for new opportunities, and that's where the Strength energy was a good energy, and he is a good guy. Out of like all the monsters in the show, like he's probably the most golden-hearted one of them, but there's something here. It's just kind of that tricky energy. Now, trickster energy, the Seven of Swords, doesn't always have to be negative either, but that's where I'm just kind of getting the sense that it's like, it just said the grass ain't greener on the other side, is what it just said. The grass ain't greener on the other side. And that's why you kind of have to make your choice. And I could pull more cards, but I feel like then we'll kind of be getting away from ourselves. Right now, the whole point is focus on your inner battles during this 222 portal. Make sure you take care of this energy. It's not heavy in here. It's just like, that's what you kind of need to face. And there's something there in the background. And then just moving forward, do look for the Strength energy. Just understand that life's always going to throw you curveballs. The grass is not always greener on the other side. And people are straight up just not always going to be who they say they are at first glance. Some people you got to get to know better. Some people you don't. Some jobs you got to get to know better, and some you don't. So make your choice. If this ain't working, then walk away from it and go on to something new. But also don't be upset if things aren't always peachy. Yeah, it's a bar job or something, y'all. It just said peachy keen, which was totally a drink I used to make. So at the bar that I worked at. So it said not everything's always going to be peachy keen, but right, there could be some good that comes out of that too, and you're just going to kind of have to take a chance. You're waiting on this news, though, to figure out where to go, and the rider is heading this way. So stay focused on your wish fulfillment, not this energy. Stay focused on moving forward, not things of the past. And stay focused on the good things that you see in these cards, not always this tricky energy, because that's going to exist at some point in time, no matter what the situation is, right? And that's the advice for you, pile 2. Good googly. What? Oh, no, you weren't pile 2. Excuse me, you were pile 1. You're pile 1. That's what I got for you, pile 1. So let me know how it resonates, and I wish you lots of luck on that, you guys. I will see y'all on the next batch. Thank you. Hello, pile 2. Hope you guys are doing great. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get started. So, as I said, I've got the Lenormand deck already pulled for us, but I'm going to expand on the message with the Supernatural Tarot. And I decided to use this deck, by the way, I forgot to say at the intro, because Dean Winchester's character is an Aquarius, and we're in Aquarius season, so happy birthday to that character. Somebody drop Sam's info into the comments for me if you were a super fan out there. All right. What is the focus for this 22222 portal coming up and this whole manifestation time leading up to that portal? What's the focus? What's the message? What is coming through for you guys? Pile 2. The ship. So at the number 3, I've had that a lot recently too. The number 3 has been a huge synchronicity. The ship is usually indicative of business and trade. All the Lenormand cards can apply to all kinds of situations, relationships, career, home, all that stuff. Like, there's descriptions for all of it. In fact, it wants me to grab the book. So we'll get the book out. All right, the ship. Says positive energy. Keywords are adventure, distance, foreign travel, long distance, a mode of transportation, movement, transition, transfer, and travel. The main message here is one about journeys, long or short, near and far, but mostly far. The ship card can be about immigration and international travel as well as vacations. It is a good business card, particularly for merchants, where it can show your ship is coming in. On a different note, this card may simply represent your car, boat, or other moving vehicles. In love, it means more about looking for love or happiness than already having it. May indicate a long-distance relationship or exotic travel for you. Career, it's for business travel, management positions, good business ventures are to be expected. If it's a person, a traveler, one who likes exploring the world, amen to that. Someone who is intellectual and likes exotic things, and then it just depends on like what other cards are around it, right? So, interesting. That's what we're talking about. Possibly travel, possibly movement, possibly kind of on a search for something. So let's see, based off these other cards, what that message is for you guys. Let me tell you something right now. This is a brand new deck, and not a single card has just popped out of it before. They do that in decks, so it's not like it's like super special, but man, they've been having a hard time because they're just kind of tight or stuck together, right? So here we go, pile 2. What's the card? Oh, I can't remember her name, but this is definitely, I'm feeling the more relationship-based part of the reading, because this is a Page of Cups. Now in the show, it kind of wants me to move this over here. The Page of Cups is, I can't remember her name, but essentially, so in the show, everyone thinks she's like freaking crazy, y'all, because she is a super fan. She's a super fan of Chuck, and Chuck, without giving away too much from the show for people that haven't watched it, is a huge character later on. Like, it's so, like, the most important character of all. And that's the thing. So, it says, the Page of Goblets represents a dreamer who's fueled by their own curiosity, like superfan Becky Rosen. Becky gets swept up in her romantic fantasies and sometimes loses sight of reality. The Page of Goblets tarot card advises you to keep dreaming big, but make sure your feet are on the ground. Sometimes this card heralds the start of a new close friendship or relationship. So you could be having a long distance relationship with somebody. And that's where when I first flipped the card over and the way her hands are, it was like, me? Like, she was excited, right? And that's the thing. So she loves supernatural, freaking loves supernatural, to the point where the author, Chuck, she don't stalk him around, but she's like always waiting to go to one of his conventions and like get her book signed, like, right? And that's the whole thing. Everyone's always like, man, that chick is weird. Like, she's just going out there for it, right? And but by later on in the show, you figure out why Chuck's character is so important. And honestly, being a spiritual person, it's like she was probably the only one that was half clued in to the person she was like actually in contact with. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if this is a new relationship, let me tell you, she might seem quirky and weird, y'all, but she is like, it just said obsessed. It did say obsessed. Okay, so it did say obsessed. So we need to, that's where it's like, we need to like dial that back down just a teeny bit. But the character that she is so obsessed with in the show ultimately is the most important character in the show and the most powerful character in the show. And even though she doesn't know it or realize it, it's like she was the only one that truly felt magnetized and connected to that character in the way that they should have been. So that's, and I'm sorry that has to stay so mysterious there. I just don't want to give away spoilers for the show in case anyone is actually watching it and stuff like that. Which, good luck. That's 15 seasons of dedication, y'all. So, it does feel relationship vibey. It does feel all giddy and happy, but quirky and weird. And it is saying a little bit about obsession. So it's saying like, calm down just a little bit. But it said it's worth being excited about. Because even though people don't think she's authentic, she is authentically a super fan of like pure spirit energy, okay? She loves books and she loves the art and she loves like all that stuff. So that's what I mean. She's a perfect example of a Page of Cups. A little too excited about things, a little whoop, and out there, but she's I don't know, she just gets it is what it's saying. She just gets it. What else? Not gonna lie, this deck's hard to read and understand at some point, so I might have to pull the book a little bit. I will take those. I was gonna put them away and it said nope. There's two stuck together right here. Yeah. Some of these cards were stuck together, but let me tell y'all, I am currently, hang on, here we go. Yes, we're going to take one right off the top of the deck and stick it right over here. Boy, that Gabriel card just like spoke to me. Let me tell you something, Gabriel. Okay. We're saving this one. The star energy I've been vibing with all day. I'm wearing my star. This is Charoite crystal. It's only found in Russia. It's very quote unquote rare. So I've been rocking this one since this morning. And okay, interesting. I was getting ready. Yes, dude. I have to get up at like 5 a.m. right now to get ready for work. And I get ready in the dark, basically, because the whole rest of my house is sleeping. And that's where we're coming in with the tower. This is Amara. She's the darkness. She's the sister of God. So she's the opposite of God, right? Which makes her a bad guy in the show. But when you really listen to her and her story and everything, like, that's what I mean. You just get it, right? Like, so she represents darkness, the nothing, basically the opposite of the living universe and reality that we live in. But she's God's sister. And she's being represented on the Tower card because, yeah, she's a big player when she comes through. Her whole intention is to recreate the world in the eyes of herself, a woman, essentially, because she's not really fond of the way reality is set up, the way that God made it. Which is obviously a huge problem for humans on Earth, right? So hence the rest of the show. I was getting ready in the dark this morning, and usually a Tower card shows a tower falling, right? The top of the tower falling and stuff like that. Oh, shit. This pile just spoke to me. No. Ugh. Tarot readings. Okay. I was getting ready in the dark. The Tower card usually shows a building falling over. As I'm getting ready in the dark this morning, I bumped like the dog bed on the floor next to my bed, and it hit my stand that I have that holds all my necklaces and earrings and jewelry and stuff, which is not really a stand. It's honestly a screen that I just have leaned up against the wall, and I like hook the earrings on, but I hang the necklaces on the corner of the screen, and it gets kind of heavy. And when I bumped it in the dark, the whole thing fell over onto my back, and that's where it was leading me to this card. It fell onto my back, and again, it's like 6 a.m. by this point now, and like my necklaces all just go all over the floor and like make a big loud noise. And I definitely took that as a sign. I almost take everything as a sign. It's bringing that to me for some reason right now because that's part of the sign. And indeed, one of my necklaces, I just said that in the last pile too, people out here looking for jobs right now. One of the pendants on one of my necklaces kind of like, it didn't break. It's just like, it's not attached to the chain. It came off. And that's kind of where I'm getting this 3 of Swords. It's like, right, you lose some things. Maybe something got broke and there was a break up before. There's something there. Yeah, it's giving me a little bit of the song Lean on Me, right? So that's where it's like, me when you're not strong and I'll be your friend. Yeah, I can sense that too. So I'm about the dark feminine. Whoo, this pile, oh man, I just got some chills up in here now all of a sudden. Okay, let me tell you what this pile just said to me. It's almost like she was wearing regular clothes and then she puts on her gown, right? For a woman, that's a big deal. Gowns are your formal wear, right? If a man has a suit, a woman has a gown. It just said, don't make me go put on my gown. And it's a black gown. It's talking about yin energy, which is feminine energy, which is always associated with black and the darkness. And that's because, number one, we live in a patriarchal society that has always deemed men as the light and white and da-da-da-da-da. So there's that symbolism. But again, she's the sister of God. So that's where that symbolism's coming from. It's the opposite energy. And that's where people get so confused about all that stuff. Like, feminine energy is not evil or wrong or any of that stuff. And that's where you're having some heartbreak and it's literally falling on you like a tower and hitting you in the back. That's dark energy that other people are putting on you. And this is her energy talking to her figure right now. It's saying like, people are putting that energy on you, right? They're letting the towers fall down on your back. They're stabbing you in the heart and in the back. They are portraying you as this monster. let me tell you something. You are not a monster. You are a full-grown ass woman. Like, it's just like going off, like the empowerment message coming off this Tower card. Man, usually I hate a Tower card, but Tower, man, she's coming through. Like, feel you, Amara. And that's the whole thing, is like, she's upset before because of the way that everyone perceives her as this, like, so destructive, like her energy is so destructive, just wants to ruin and destroy everything. She was locked up alone in the darkness for freaking ever. And she finally gets out, and then it's like, what? This is how the world works? This is why the people, this is where the souls go? And like, and she's like, none of this shit makes sense. And so she's like, dude, screw this whole thing. And she's still like ready to wipe the whole board off. That's the energy that's coming through. She's saying, I've seen your pain before. Like, this stuff is falling on your back. It's coming and hitting you in the back. And just said, like, are you going to stand there and take it anymore? I'm going to say, no, you ain't, honey. Because based off these other cards, which we haven't even gotten to yet, like, that's what I mean. Your dark feminine energy, which is always misconstrued outside of, you know, or especially within organized religions and stuff. Your dark feminine energy is like, girl, you are not this monster. People have been, like, this energy's been hitting you in the back and it's been hurting you. Are you going to stand there and take that anymore? No, because the truth is you are this beautiful, playful energy. And we have an 1111 message. And I love the way that this number 3 is written out as numerals. That's a 111111 message. Huge portal message. All the potential. She's talking about it. She's bringing it. And she got these people to back them up. So her number 1 point, pile 2, is your dark feminine energy is like, this is bullshit. Like, are you going to keep receiving that energy and allowing people to stab you in the back? No. You're going to turn into the dark energy if that's what you have to do. Because the real truth is, you're this. You're this page. And that's the whole thing. This, if it's not about a relationship with others, it's about the relationship with yourself. I was catching a little bit of that vibe off of pile 1. This is about the relationship with yourself. You ain't no werewolf. Psst, like, no. You're this giggly, bubbly, happy. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming for some people, but you're like this happy, giggly, bubbly energy. And you deserve to have that happiness, right? And that's where it's like, me? I deserve to have that happiness? Yes, you! So that's part of the tower. That's the tower. That's what has to be deconstructed in your mind. Yes, you deserve all these good feelings and to be yourself, to be your happy, best self. No, you don't deserve these things that keep hitting you in the back. And if you don't like it, then tear the whole world down, right? Go sail somewhere else and start over new. That's where we get to the Star card. The Star card in this case is represented by Jack, who is a Nephilim. And a Nephilim is the product of an angel and a human. So he is even stronger than regular angels. And that's where it's saying your star, the Star card is actually the strongest card here. We have the Archangel Gabriel, we have Amara, which is the sister of God, but it's saying that it's really the star that is the most powerful character here, is the most powerful player on the board, carries the most power in this reading. The Star card is all about hope. From the moment Jack is born, people believe that he's gonna be, right, the most dangerous creature ever alive in the universe. And it's only because Sam and Dean and everybody else in the crew shows him love and shows him respect and tries to raise him and show him how to be a good human being, that he makes the choice for himself that he doesn't want to be the darker energy. He doesn't want to just be a Nephilim simply because his dad's Lucifer. He wants to be on the good side of things. And that is the power of hope. It's saying that's the power of this star card. You can be the most powerful player on the board, and you can still be somewhat meek and mild-tempered, and do all the right things. And that's the thing. He tears himself up when he makes a mistake because he's so worried about being bad. And you see how his eyes are looking up at her? That's the thing. And that's the same kind of energy is coming off of here, but it's showing it to you in the light of like grace. You are tearing yourself up a lot, possibly, inside, because you're trying so hard not to be bad. You're trying not to even touch this energy here. And that's where it's just saying, okay, well, fine. Like, if you don't want to be in this energy, then let's point this one out, right? Someone that was born to be the most dangerous creature in the universe, consciously choosing to be good. And his best moments, his happiest moments, he very much reflects this energy here. And so it's just looking back again at yourself, at your own energy, and saying, yeah, I deserve all these good things. Yeah, I am a good person. Hey, you know what? You're right. Like, I am not evil. And I am the most powerful person in my little world on the playing field, not these other folks, right? But you got you got like a power team here to back you up. That is for sure. Also, it's saying how the ships, right? Sailors, ships, they have to follow the star. The star card is looking up at this Page of Cups. Page of Cups energy can also be like your inner child. So that's what I mean. The ship is following the star. You're following the star. Everything that's coming to you is following the star energy, which is, yes, half angel, half human, most powerful being in the universe, more or less. And surprise, it's looking back up here at this card that was very much talking about your energy, pile 2. This bubbly, happy, giddy, excited energy. So all of this is showing me like attractive forces, right? It's like coming to you. So if you're worried about all of this, you need to stay in this energy. And if not, you need to at least be in one of these energies here, because that's what's bringing this to you. Just gave me the song, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Ooh, right? So it's going this way. Then we have Gabriel, and then we got Page of Bones over here, and then we got a mystery card. Now, Gabriel, interesting. It was like he snapped his fingers and it turned this Page of Goblets into this Page of Bones, which that's what I mean. You've got this doorway with this 1111 message. You can definitely be both sides of this coin. The other side of that coin for you is Claire. And Claire is that Claire? Am I saying the right name? Yeah, Claire. Claire wants to be a hunter, is excited about being a hunter. Her dad was a hunter, but she lost him. And so then she kind of gets taken in by all the other characters in the show. She's still very rebellious. And Bones is Wands. So this is a Page of Wands. She is a big messenger. As much as this Page of Goblets is a messenger about like, oh, yay, friends, relationships, good things coming in, yay. She's a messenger very much from that supernatural side. She's more in touch with reality. She's more in touch with supernatural things. And that's why she's a hunter, because she knows what's creeping around out there in the dark. She knows the things that go bump in the night. She's aware of the darker aspects of life. And it just says she's a fighter. So as much as you have this giddy little bubbly like super fan part of your personality, you also have a fighting spirit within you. Someone that can be a little rebellious, someone that's going to come bring the news and say the news and, you know, right, kind of do some of those harder things. That's not Becky. That's definitely Claire. And the way that Gabriel snapped his fingers was like poof, like just instantly transformed you and turned you into this energy over here. So it's just saying, like, number one, you need to be able to go back and forth. You can be all this good, positive energy, get away from this energy, embrace your dark feminine, embrace your goodness, but also, hang on, it's giving me, it gave me a Hosier song. It said, don't you ever tame your demons, but always keep them on a leash. And that's kind of like what the snap is, right? She's not a demon. She's a human. But if you were to compare these people, you would definitely say this one's the Hellion. And and Gabriel is an angel energy that does connect with me often, not just through this show, but it comes and connects through me often. Gabriel's a messenger energy. He's also a bit of a trickster energy in the show and can have some disguises and things like that. And that's what it was essentially like doing right here. It was saying, almost like he just changed your disguise or took your disguise off too. Maybe you sometimes wear a disguise of being happy and bubbly when you're really feeling more of this and this underneath. Nice, I like that. Yeah, okay, I like that. It just reversed the message I've been saying for a while too, and it's saying maybe you really do feel like this underneath, but you project this out to the world because of the fact that you're hiding this, right? And that can be just as admirable too, because why do you want to let people see all the dark things about you all the time when there's so much good to see and shine and show? And that's why the ship is following that energy, right? And Gabriel was like, oh, but they are also a badass bitch who's a hunter, who's a bit of a hellion, who is, right, black leather, bikers, truck stops, bars, like that whole thing. But she's a kid when she's doing it, or a teenager, young lady, not someone who necessarily belongs in those places. So it's a bit of a daredevil energy. And you need to recognize that about yourself, because it was just saying you can be all of those things. Like all phases of the moon, you can be all of these things. So what's this last card? And it definitely feels like it's coming off this Gabriel energy. Like this is his little secret card. That was in pile 1. It said, and so was this. Something was kind of saying like, I'm back. He is locked in purgatory for a long time, and then he finally gets back to reality. And it takes so long for him to get back to reality that he finally meets like his granddaughter, essentially. It's not even his daughter. I think it's his granddaughter or like distant niece or something like that. That's all it said. It just said like, I'm back. So pile 1, this overall was coming off as a good energy. There was a little bit of something in there, but it was overall a good energy. Also, it's the same thing. I see you there, Gabriel. Yep. It was implying that this is also one of Gabriel's disguises. Like Gabriel is secretly disguising as this strength energy too. And angel energy does that. Like legit, when you're working with spiritual angel energy, it is really surprising when it comes through. It's very much implying that the moon energy is also coming through on the strength card, which this is an 8. We have a 188. It's not saying much though. It's just saying, I'm back. just kind of went like this for me. It's like daredevil, goes on a journey, maybe does make some new friends, makes some new relationships, things fall apart, gets in touch with the dark feminine, finds their goodness in their soul. Surprise, I'm also connecting with angels and getting all their little secret messages or something like that. There's something here with that moon card about that. And then it's like, surprise, I'm back. Like you went on the journey and you came back, right? You went on the journey and you came back. And with it kind of moving this way, that's a retrograde kind of motion. So it's like, I went on the journey and I came back, right? Started out as okay, it just gave me a little bit of another song. It was just talking about like Wild One and everything. That's a Faith Hill song. I've been singing a lot of Faith Hill songs lately. This one's like her first one, though. It was that song Wild One. That's a 90s country song. It was saying like, yeah. Oh, wow, yeah. So she's a wild one. I think it says with an angel's face or born of grace. She's a woman's child. It says she was 3 years old on her daddy's knee. He said, you can be anything you want to be. Claire wants to be a hunter. She wants to be the super fan to Chuck, who is writing the Supernatural series. She doesn't want to be a werewolf. She just wants to exist and peacefully not be locked in a fucking box all the time, right? He wants to just be good and not be seen as evil. Gabriel kind of just wants to do whatever it is Gabriel's doing. He's the messenger of God, and he's a trickster, so he's always just like living up the angel life. And he just wants to kind of be left alone. Not necessarily alone, it's just he just doesn't want to be bothered, right? He doesn't want to be bothered. He comes back from a long journey in purgatory where he had to discover his own monster. That's the energy I'm seeing here on the ends, is like the feminine, ooh, nice, thank you, and the masculine energy. Both halves of yourself. Or possibly someone else. We're talking about relationships. The masculine and the feminine, recognizing their monsters, recognizing their power, coming together for some beautiful healing and realizing that, you know, it's all about that goodness and love and light and blah, 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 blah. And we got this 1111 right here with this 3 in the middle. Oh, thank you. It said 3, like 311 this way, 311 that way. And 311 is, I mean, obviously the band, blah, but the number itself is an angel number code, and that comes through a lot. And yep, Gabriel was just saying like that's one of his number codes. That's one of the number codes I think that comes through for him. That makes a lot of sense to me. That makes a ton of sense to me. I see that number code a lot. I see a 311 or a 113 all the time. And yeah, man, it just started talking to me over here. I think that's a number code that might be coming through, at least from this general energy. So you might see that a lot. Of course, there's all the music from the band, and that's why they chose that number. It's a very spiritual number. So there's a lot coming through there. I swear, like, my chest just got warm. like my heart chakra just got a little warm. And this is a little all over the place, but that's what I've got so far. There's definitely this portal coming through. Stuff coming through this portal. If it is about relationships, it is also about the relationship with yourself. Embrace your darkness. Recognize your monster. Be all facets of yourself in all phases. And don't forget that it is the goodness within you that casts the light for others. People follow that light just like sailors follow the stars at night. And you've got this big open door where you can recognize, I'm, you know, this sweet, happy, bubbly, friendly, loving energy. I'm also this daredevil, kind of fierce energy that just knows what's up and when to do some of those harder, darker things in life. It's a beautiful spread. It's saying like there's so much variety in here is kind of what it's saying. And definitely I would say there's probably a lot of folks possibly choosing this pile. There's a lot of variety in here. At the end of the day, it's kind of giving me the message overall of like, be a wild one in the best way possible, right? Go roam the world. Go travel. Go figure out your stuff. And just remember that you are good, pile 2. It's that goodness within you that leads the way. You are the star. Lead the way. That's what I got for you, pile 2. Let me know how it resonates. Woo! Digging this deck today. And I'm moving on to pile 3. I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you. Hello, pile 3. Hope you guys are doing great. And let's get started. So, pile 1 and pile 2. Interesting stuff going on in those piles, but here we are for you guys. Let's start with your lineament, and then I've got my supernatural tarot, and we will expand the message. What is the energy and focus for you guys right now, building up to the 22222 portal? What's coming through? The coffin, 9 of Pentacles. Something just kind of said, come closer. So I'm gonna come closer. Wow. That's so cool, y'all. It's probably going to be damn near impossible to see. But, okay. These little polka dots right here going along the edge of the coffin, they're not polka dots. They're little bitty hearts. And there's like little X's down here. And she's got hearts on her crown. Wow. It was just saying, like, I never knew, like, they were so loved or I was so loved, right? Like, it's either talking about yourself or another person. It just said a show of love. There's something wrapping up, coming to, you know, conclusion, finality, being laid to rest. But it's like you didn't know there was so much love for this thing. It doesn't have to be like an ending, but there's definitely like a chapter of life kind of ending. And you just didn't know there was so much love around all of this, right? That's what I'm seeing based off of all that in the coffin. It's like people decorated the coffin to honor this figure, right? And that's where that could totally be about you, pile 3, or that could be about someone else in your life. And you just noticed the outpouring of love from all of these people. You just didn't know there was so much love. What a beautiful message for your 22222 portal. So I think it wants this one. Ooh, we got a 9 of Pentacles and a 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Diamonds is a 9 of Pentacles. And that's the other thing it wants you to pay attention to, is specifically your abundance. It's pointing out all those pentacles here as if they are all the little dots on this coffin. That's what I mean. It's not necessarily about money, but it is about the time and effort and detail that is going into this display, this, right? It's talking about, number 1, so this is usually a Virgo energy card, and you have a 9-9 then coming right off the bat, even though this is an 8. Weird. There was a little comment that said there's always that one person not going to give you the credit you deserve. Virgos. That's just what came through. But anyway, this is pile 3. So pile 3, someone maybe out there ain't giving you the credit you deserve, but you got a 9-9 message. It's about all that detail and time and effort and energy that's going into this to honor somebody, to honor something, to honor you. It takes planning and foresight. Like, this isn't just something you throw together. You don't just get to a 9 of Pentacles all of a sudden. This is not something that just gets thrown together. This is stuff that was methodical, took time, took planning, took care. I said TLC, right? Like tender love and care. That And that's what is really so rich about whatever this message is when it comes through for you, because it's just like, man, I had no idea that like there was so much love and people cared this much and took this much time and energy and effort out for me. Like, holy crap. Like, that's what this message is right here. Beautiful. Let's keep going. Whoa, pile 3. Let me tell you what just happened. So, this 7 of Swords is here, 7 of Blades. And she's the trickster energy. And I've been pulling this card. I pulled it in the other pile, one of the other piles. And then I was trying to do a pick pile the other day, but I had to throw the recording out because it just didn't work out. My dogs were barking and stuff. And so anyway, I've seen this card recently quite a couple of times. So when I just pulled it, my brain went, why are you here? And it gave it to me like when you go to a funeral or a wedding and there's that one family member or that one person that you're like, why are you here, right? That's what it just gave to me. And that's where it implied that this blade was almost like a 4th numeral here, which even though that's not how you write the number 9 in Roman numerals, that's what it implied, is like someone took away that credit. What's I was saying? You had a 9-9. I had that in some weird ass. Okay, maybe there's a Pisces in here. The Pisces reading, I said, no, it wasn't Pisces. Excuse me, no. It was Sagittarius. Sagittarius's last reading, there was some weird joke that didn't connect that was about 7, 8, 9. Now we've got a 7, 8, 9. But in this reverse order, it's like whoever this person is, we were like, why are you here? You know why they're here? It kind of sounds like they're here for the food, because it's like they took something here from the number 8. So they ate something away from your abundance and wealth, right? 7, 8, 9. They took away some of the attention and love and time and detail or food and resources that were being given to honor this figure, which could be a passing person. This could be a legit funeral, or it's figurative, right? So that's what I mean. As one cycle of life is ending, you're like, man, there's so much love. Like, look at what all these people did for me. Like, holy crap. And then there's that one person that's just kind of here for the food. They ain't really technically on your side. That's what this energy has been as I've been pulling this card. And that's exactly why the energy went, why are you here? Because it's like you don't really care about this stuff, right? You don't really care about this. Maybe they do, but they definitely taken something away. It's just keeps bringing me back to how there's this golden one blade over here and how much it can kind of resemble this. Right? And it's like red-handed. It just says she's got the evidence in her hand. She's red-handed, right? Like it said it gives no fucks. It says she has no qualms about openly taking what belongs to you and waving it in front of your face. And that is the cycle that needs to end, because that, even if it's something small, pisses you off. It's your 9 of Pentacles. It just said, it's my party. I'll cry if I want to. It's my coffin. I'll get pissed if I want to. You take something out of my coffin, I'm coming after you. And if it's like that, right? Like, for sure. If it's not that kind of situation, it's like you took some bounty off my table. You took some of my money. No. Like, just no. Like, that's not how we're gonna know. And they're doing it pretty openly and blatantly. And that's the kind of the message. It's like she's holding it. She's like, oh, oops, sorry, but not sorry, right? What's this? Ooh. Oh no. No. Mm. This is a 9 of blades. Oh, honey. That's what it just said. No. 9 of blades. First of all, she's taking it away because she's giving it to someone else. And with this 9 of blades, like, that's a nasty character. I thought she was bad. Woohoo. Come on. Yeah. Alistair is a particularly nasty demon and Hell's Grand Inquisitor. He has a particular affinity for torturing victims not only physically, but psychologically and emotionally. Y'all, the weird little, it wasn't like, I don't want to describe it full on as pain. The weird sensation that resembles pain that just ran through my heart chakra and like down my left leg was weird. The 9 of Blades is a tarot card of anxiety, nightmares, and worry. It indicates stress and suggests you need to make time to consciously relax. And the way it just said relax is really creepy. It would just said it to me as if someone's encouraging you to relax. So they can get the better of you. Damn, y'all, pile 3. Yeah, that energy just shifted hardcore. Straight up, y'all. This knife in her hand is the exact same one in his hand, in his card. Someone is literally taking your pentacles, your time, your energy, your sanity, and giving it to someone else. And I wouldn't say that unless their hands weren't exactly the same way. Like, and it said it straight out. He's the Grand Inquisitor of Hell. He likes to torture people mentally, especially psychologically, yeah, and also physically. And that's the thing. It's not just about hurting you. It's about fucking with you. And that's exactly what both of these cards are all about. And it's so funny because that's the first thing I noticed was like, we have a 9 of Pentacles. You had the 9 of Diamonds, which is a 9 of Pentacles. And the first thing I noticed was like, hey, wait a minute. Why is that an 8? Why didn't they pair it up with a 9? You have another 9 right here. You have a 999 message, pile 3, which is 3 times 3. You have a 999 message. You, woo-hoo, like, y'all. You have a 999 message, and there is so much love that other people are pouring out for you, embellishing your life with. You're resting and happy with all that, but someone is taking from you, and it might seem small, and that's part of why you just kind of like lay down, but it's not small. You're laying down not just because you're trying to ignore some of this energy or wave it off and it's not that serious. No, you're laying down because you're incapacitated with this anxiety and fear, and someone who is possibly psychologically messing with you. And when I say possibly, I mean that is a strong message coming through here. Ooh, yes, honey. And that's where something just came through and it said it's been so hard trying to figure out like who it is, what it is, how to, right? Like, I said, you've been praying about it. I said, you've been praying about it because, right, that's the problem. When you're getting mentally and psychologically manipulated, you can admit that and say that at certain points in time, but then all of a sudden, like, right, the tables kind of turn, the situation changes, you're face to face with the High Inquisitor, and there's something where maybe you step into that energy a little bit more yourself, and you're like, you have to play both sides of the game. Thank you. And it's pointing that out. Yes, her character in the show, she does that at one point. She gets interrogated by him, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, and she has to get tortured a little bit and, like, get her way through that whole thing. And she's one of his own kind. So there's an energy here that's like, why are you here? You don't belong at this funeral or this event, or your hands don't belong in my money and in my stuff. There's something there like that. And it's here to tell you, like, so part of it with blades can also be gossip. Someone actually going to a funeral to come back and say gossip to someone else. Maybe you're worried about that, but I'm telling you, it's talking about like abundance and coins and taking objects and shiny things from people living and dead. And it's also talking a lot about psychological manipulation. There's either two people playing you, or there's one person playing you, and you got to play a game too. And that's why the Seven of Swords card is here, because it's like, whoa, what the is going on? Okay, let's find out. I want at least two more cards. One. I was hoping for a good message on this pile thing. There is good message. That's what it's saying. It's like, I can't believe there's so much love surrounding me. Like, it's insane. Oh, man, we're going to take those two, I guess. And then it said it once. This one on the bottom. I think it was like this. Now, I've been pulling that Three of Swords, too. Everybody on this 222 portal is reflecting on or has this card in their reading. So there's definitely, like, relationship, emotions, pain, backstab, betrayal, like all that stuff been kind of floating around in various degrees in all of these readings. This is Castiel. He's a great angel in the show. He definitely makes mistakes sometimes, though. And that's one of these moments. And that's why it's represented as the Ten of Bones, the Ten of Wands. There's heavy things on his heart and soul and mind. He's an angel of the Lord and has responsibilities in that way, but being on earth is a whole different game plan from what is going on in heaven. P.S. No one even knows where God's at, and half the other angels are all fighting a war, and right? Like, there's like so many problems going on that he is partially responsible for, needs to be responsible for, is the only person around that can help take care of these things, so just the responsibility just kind of naturally falls to him, right? And yes, he could walk away from some of that stuff, but he's also walking away. Damn. Pile 3. Let me tell you what just happened. I was talking. This card, I accidentally got hit by my finger and it ran into this, and then I felt a little pain in my back, in my right shoulder blade area, like someone had like snuck a knife in there. And then it totally distracted me from what I was saying here. Let me tell you about this card right now. That's the whole point. Look, we were getting somewhere. He's got a lot of burdens. He's got a lot of responsibility. He's got a lot of things. This energy trying to shut you up and silence you. He's got so much responsibility and burden on him. And some of it is his fault. Some of it is just the freaking universe. Some of it is past choices, future choices, present choices. Castiel is a stoic, thoughtful person. And an angel. And that's the thing. He's not just a human. He's an angel. So there's not really much of the emotional aspect in it, but there is this complications of like, I can't do things in certain ways because I'm an angel. Like, I can't just smite everybody. I can't be without all my angels. I can't just kill all these demons. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't get rid of the humans. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you name it. It's on his mind. It's a problem. And if he walks away from all of that heavy burden, he has to walk away from all this too. All that abundance. These are also signs of protection since they're pentagrams. They're protective energies. drawn incantations and things like that. It's just saying, like, if I walk away from all this, I walk away from all this protection, I walk away from all this abundance, I walk away from your own security too. And that's the thing for me personally. I was born on 9/9/1990, so I've got 9 as a power number. 999. This is not a joke, but it is legit. Heavy burdens, lots of responsibilities, phases ending, things being recognized and wrapped up. But it's so hard to walk away from this. And it's not just about money and abundance. It's about the protective energy. And it said, like, it just said, like, security. This is Pentacles, like, right? That's the security of all the things that are surrounding you, but also all the things you have to take care of. And it's got me gripping my Charite necklace right now. That's what I mean. Like, it's just, some people think it's about stuff. It's not about stuff. It said certainty. It just said certainty. Like, you have to walk away from the certainty of things. And that's what's so hard, because honestly, look at this energy on the other side of things that you're looking at. You're dealing with the Grand High Inquisitor of Hell who likes to torture people. You've got this energy, which is like, why are you here? I don't even know why you're here. This is confusing. Looks like you two are kind of like trading hands, working together and stuff, right? And then you got this in the cornerstone. It's the Three of Swords. It's painful. And it said, you're not turning a blind eye to it. It just looks like you're turning a blind eye to it. Because that's the thing, is like, there's so much on your mind. There's so much on your plate. There's so much on your back. There's so much that you were very stuck over here, pile 3. Oh, that was good. Nice. I like that. It was just saying, but if you ignore it, you're building monsters. You're turning things into monsters. So you have to... gotta deal with stuff. Something just said, and I'm not saying this in a way that's like implying self-harm or anything. It was just saying, like, just kill me, right? Like, just end whatever that is. Like, just end that. That's the phase of life that needs to end. Feels impossible to move is what it said. Feels impossible to move. To make a move, because so much of the weight and burden has been placed on you. In the show, God is like hardly, right? Like, they don't know where he's at. So the angels are running everything. Then the angels start running amok. So it's really down to like, who's a better angel? And that's where they're all asking him to take responsibility of heaven. Hey, Castiel, will you take over heaven? And he's like, I really don't know if I'm the right person for that. And it's like, well, if you don't, by the way, there's like 4 other angels that are basically trying to wage war and take over heaven right now. So you should probably make a choice soon. And there is no easy choice. You just kind of have to kill off the bad angels as they come around. Kill off demons as they come around. Like, just figuring out life one day at a time. But there's one thing for certain that is being figured out in this pile, and that is that somebody's energy is possibly trading hands, taking from you, putting all of this weight and burden on you to the point where you feel like you can't move, pile 3. You feel like you can't move because all this heavy stuff is being placed on you, or there is no one else here to catch it. And there is no one else here to catch it that I would trust with it in this pile, except for your damn self. And that's the thing. There's no one else here that you trust to take over all this burden and responsibility and security, and that's why you can't move. And that's where I really like this last card at the bottom of pile 3. We have the Chariot, which implies, number 1, that you're going to make some forward progress and you're going to do so swiftly. But what I love the most about this card, it's like one of the few cards in this deck that actually features Sam and Dean. I love their car. And there's, I was going to say, Sam's in the darkness over here, but there's just enough light hitting Dean's face. And it's really hard to see from your perspective on that camera, but and his eyes are shaded, but like the way that the person illustrated his face and the pose of him, it's like he's literally cranking up the car and he's about to like slam on the gas, and that little bit of a face that you can see in the artwork, it looks so determined, like something. That's what I mean, like trustworthy people. These are Sam and Dean. This is the good team. That's the team you want rolling up to the funeral to maybe fix a situation, or at least, right, kind of help relieve some of this situation. There are friends, family, spirit guides coming through, I think, in a very determined way to assist you. So it's like, if it was actually a funeral, it's like the whole family comes through and pays their respects. There is some stuff going on, right? And after funerals, there can be a lot of financial burden. Who does what with this? Who gets that? Da, 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 da. People asking hard questions, being sneaky and ruthless, and causing people a lot of pain when they're already in pain and suffering from mourning and grief. The other side of it is just someone else. It's a figurative death in your life, and the real death is kind of realizing that everybody's put the weight and responsibility on you, and you are an angel and you are capable, but you haven't been able to make a move because you have your hands, your legs, your wings, your heart, everything full with all this stuff right now. And that's what they're using against you. That's what they're using against you. All that weight, all that pain, all of that stuff, along with being sneaky and taking from you. They know you can't move, so they're taking from you. They know it causes you pain. Look at the smile on his face. He does not care. It said that someone cares. You care enough to finally find a way to, let's say, that's what I mean. They always driving around with cast mirrors, like, get in the car. Like, get in the car, right? They're coming through. And this is a major Arcana 7. So where you were majorly confused, we were talking about 7, 8, 9. 7 showed up and ate some of your resources, took some of your stuff, took away from your abundance. There's a better 7 coming through, and that is this Chariot card. And I swear I just heard like a car horn like going like, doo-doo-doo-doo, like when people put the chimes on their car horns, right? That Chariot coming through, that's a lot of power, progress, conquest, just motivation, forward movement. It can be some speedy choices, hectic choices that maybe are a bit rash, but it can lead to victory because you made that choice right then and you moved. And that's what it's saying, and you moved. You feel like you can't move, when the choice shows up, move. All right. Woo! That's what I got for you, pile 3. Bless your heart. Something just said, I miss y'all. That's what I mean. Someone's talking, there's family, there's conversations. Yeah, it's like, I miss y'all. I'll see y'all later, right? People, the good team gonna roll up, y'all. There's some drama and stuff. Good team's gonna roll up one way or another. And that's what I got for you. I'll see y'all on the next pile. Happy 22222 portal, everybody. Catch y'all next time. Thank you.